Hello Today TV. Today I'm going to show you how to install Kali Linux on a VMware workstation. This will be the first time I'm installing on a VMware workstation, but it is the same process as installing it as your main OS on your system or as on a partition on your system. So the first thing you need to do is make sure you've downloaded the Kali Linux software, which is an ISO file. Now you could either burn this to a flash drive to make a bootable disk, or you should burn it to a CD DVD drive if you want to install on your system. But since I'm using VMware workstation, I could leave it as a .iso file. So the first thing to do is go to file, new virtual machine. I'm going to leave it as customed. Okay, workstation 10.0, and install from installer disk image as .iso. So I'm going to navigate to where my file is, which is in documents and Kali Linux. Okay, once again, Kali Linux is Debian, unlike Bagbox, which is based on Ubuntu. Alright, so now that we specified where the file is, we just click next. Now the virtual machine name, you can specify what name you want, either Kali Linux. I'm leaving it as Debian 7. Next. Now number of processors, I'm going to select 2 and the number of cores as 2. Now this is going to make my workstation for the Kali Linux installation fast. I'm using a total of 4 processors. Okay, so I'm going to click next. And memory, let me turn this up a bit to 2 gigabytes. Next. Now what network connection? Right, use network address translation. I'm going to use the bridge networking. And next. Right, LSI logic for the input output controllers. Next, virtual disk type SCSI. And next. Okay, I'm going to create a new virtual disk. Next, and I'm going to make my disk size 60. This really doesn't matter, but 60 is always on the safe side, and the minimum is 20 gig, so I'm just going to make mine 60. Alright, and store virtual disk as a single file. And next. Alright, so this is going to be the disk file debian7.vmdk. That's virtual machine disk. So next. Alright, so finish. Alright, so it's going to load and installation is going to begin. Kali Linux. Okay, so I'm going to choose graphical installation. Now I'm going to select the language I'm going to use as English, and I'm in Nigeria. Let me see if there's an option for Nigeria here. Nope, guessed as much. So other, Africa. Okay, so I'm just going to select Nigeria now. Alright, here's Nigeria. Enter. And we'll speak. Okay, we don't have UK English, so I'll just select American English. Alright, detecting hardware. Okay, so it's detecting network hardware and it's configuring the network. The installation is going to take a while, so you have to be very patient. Now, please enter the host name for this system. I'm going to leave my host name as Chude TV. Okay, and continue. And my domain name, I could leave that without the domain name. Now you need to set a root password, so I'm going to set my root password right now. I'm using a mix of alphabets and alphanumeric, sorry. So continue. Let's configure the clock. Okay, partition disk. The installer can guide you through partitioning a disk using different standard schemes. Or if you prefer to do it manually. Nope. I prefer to use entire disk. I want to use the entire disk for the installation, so choose entire disk. If you choose manual, it means maybe you want to partition your disk, and which we don't want to do, so I'm using use entire disk. So continue, and it's showing me the disk which we initially created as 60 plus gigabytes, so that's that. So continue, select for partitioning. All right, all files in one partition, recommended for new users, which I'm going to use. Continue, and finish partitioning and write changes to disk. Right, so continue. If you want to undo any thing you did before, you just go to undo changes to partitions. I don't want to undo anything, so I'll continue with finish partitioning and write changes to disk. So continue. Now if you continue, the changes listed below will be written to the disk. Otherwise, you'll be able to make further changes manually. Write the changes to disk. Yes, so continue. Okay, partitions for Martin and installing the system. Now this is going to take a while. Okay, since this is going to take much longer than expected, I'm just going to pause the video here, and we'll continue when it's a little bit finished. Okay, so we're almost at the end of the installation. Okay, configure the package manager. A network mirror can be used to supplement the software that is included on the CD-ROM. This may also make newer versions of software available. I use a network mirror now. Okay, now configuration continues. Okay, so now it's installing the GRUB bootloader on the hard disk. Alright, the group bootloader is responsible for that guy that you see when you have two partitions on your disk when you put on your system. Like, say for example, you want to run Kali Linux and you have Windows, so it's the group bootloader that takes care of this. Alright, so but in this case, this is the only installation on this operating on this is the only operating system installation on this computer. Alright, so we could just select yes and continue. Finishing the installation. So installation complete. Continue. Okay, so it's going to reboot now, and Kali Linux. So it's going to select the first one, Kali GNUI. Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to log in as trulytv.com. And I've selected the username trulytv, and I'll select my password, which I set during the installation to log in. Authentication failure. trulytv password. Authentication failure. So the username is supposed to be root, and your password is what you set initially. Okay, so I'm logged in as root, and this is my terminal at trulytv, and always going to be sudo su to log in. Okay, thank you very much for watching my video. These are all the packages and applications installed. Alright, and that is how to install Kali Linux on your VMware. Thank you for watching.